For me, and for many people around the world, Toyota Camry has always been a legend. It is the 9th generation of the Toyota Camry, and at some point before SUVs took over in North America, this car was the best-selling vehicle. So in 2025, we get this all-new Toyota Camry. It looks better from the outside and a lot better on the inside. The only thing I liked about the previous generation of Toyota Camry was the side profile, and it remained exactly the same. And I think now this car looks more clean from the front, and it doesn't look overstyled like the 8th generation did. Now we get these new headlights that are inspired by the Prius model that came out a couple years before. We also get the new styled grille, which looks more modern. And the cool thing is that depending on which trim you choose, you get a different grille design. The XSE is the highest sporty trim, and the XLE is the highest luxury trim. Part of the XSE trim are those 19-inch black wheels. On the SE you get 18-inch, which might ride actually a little better than the XSE since they're a little lower size. The XSE trim also adds up the black cab mirrors, and you can also get two-tone exterior color. So this one is the heavy metal gray with the black roof top. So with these exterior updates, as I said in the title of the video, Toyota Camry became much cooler, but especially on the inside. Let's take a look. So when it comes to driver's cockpit, I think Toyota has solved all of the interior problems I had personally with the 8th generation of Toyota Camry. And of course, the main part is the new infotainment system, which you probably have seen in other Toyota products. It's very intuitive, so easy to go through the menus, and it reacts to your inputs very quickly, which is all you need actually. You don't need to go deep down into the menu to control things like the AC, because you have a great physical button layout right here. I think Toyota has also cleaned up the area around the screen as well. Now it looks more cohesive and it looks more simple and elegant. And overall, the usability is great in this cabin. You have physical buttons to the left of the wheel as well, with the brightness for your digital cluster and your screen, for your traction control, for everything that you need. The steering wheel is also very acceptable for this price point. It has all the physical buttons you need as well for your cruise control, for your media control. In the XSE trim, you get this digital cluster, which I think is not needed, but it's a nice thing to have. And again, I like to point out small details like this volume knob, which is so welcome in 2025. Please, automakers, give us back all the physical controls and volume knobs. It's just so easy to use. And I think one of the main factors when it comes to why Toyota vehicles are the best-selling cars in the world is that they have this attention to detail to make everything usable, but at the same time, give you things like wireless CarPlay and a great touchscreen. So now let's quickly take a look at the back seat, which is, as always, very spacious, very comfortable. I'm 5'8". This seat is configured for myself, and I can fit just fine. You get the best view of the panoramic sunroof, which is available with XSE and XLE trim. And you get pretty much the same seats back here as well, with some additional red interior trim on the doors. This back seat has never been something exciting. It's just great functional space for the people you're hauling to feel good on a long road trip, which is the most important part of this vehicle, because it's a family sedan. And of course, you get ample space in your trunk as well. For some reason, the trunk opener button is situated right here on the right. I couldn't find it the first time I tried to open it. And yes, you can fit lots of stuff here. I'm pretty sure you can fit maybe 2 or even 3 international size luggage here. And I think you also get a spare tire. How nice is this? It didn't change that much from the previous generation. It gets the job done again. And I want to give you a quick look of the taillight design during the night and the headlight design as well. Let me walk to the front. You got those yellow DRLs, and this is the actual headlight, which looks to me, for some reason, similar to the LC500 headlight. But usually on the LC500 you get 3 of those. I'll just put a photo right here and you'll judge for yourself. But today, I started this video a little late, so I think we should get on the road before it gets dark. So let us go and examine how the Toyota Camry actually drives. So of course, when it comes to the engine options, lots of people gonna be sad that the V6 is not available. For a long time, XSE trim was offering the V6 option for Toyota Camry. But this year, we only get the hybrid powertrain. The only difference is that when you go for the all-wheel drive option, you just get extra 7 horsepower. But other than this, they are identical. Usually, I would recommend people to go for the XSE trim if the V6 was available. You'll get a lot more power and you'll get a lot more punch and better 0 to 60 time. But this year, there's no difference. But honestly, for the 8th generation of Toyota Camry, the V6 option became outdated, and I think the decision to go for all hybrid this year is actually very logical. When you think of Toyota Camry, you don't think about being sporty. You think about it being comfortable, being nice to drive, quiet, refined. And now since Toyota homogenized all of the trims for Toyota Camry, I think they all feel on the same level of refinement. The only thing you will notice when it comes to NVH for different Toyota trims is that the XLE and XSE gets better sound deadening. And that means it will be just a little bit more quiet in the city and on the highway. So now let's get into the sport mode and examine how fast it can go to merge into a highway. And honestly, the new hybrid system that Toyota put in this Toyota Camry actually feels pretty potent. And it's definitely slower than the V6 option that we got last year, but it's still punchy, and with the help of the electric motor, you get all of this torque down low, and especially around the city, you feel like the car is pretty quick. And when it comes to passing power, you can notice that there's no problem for this Toyota Camry to overtake people on the highway. It does everything with ease. I think that's enough power for everyday use, and Toyota knows it. So let's go off the highway, and I'll show you that the XSE trim and SE trim have those paddle shifters. And no, there's no gears in this car. It's a CVT transmission, but we can use those paddles to slow ourselves down and feel like we are changing gears down. So like this, it says that we are now in 4th gear, 3rd, 2nd. So it imitates engine braking. It is actually using the regen braking instead of braking with gears, but it works well, and it's a great way to save your brake pads and spend less on maintenance. I feel like there's not a lot of difference between the sport mode and the normal mode, but let's go in sport mode, put ourselves in manual mode, and discover this on-ramp. So as I said, it's actually pretty quick. The upshifts are kind of gimmicky. I don't think they actually work. I honestly think the sport mode is not very usable. It's better to use the normal mode. You'll get more time in fully EV mode and will save much more money on fuel. I feel like the sport mode just makes it a little faster, but with the expense of the fuel economy. So in my personal view, it's not worth it. If you put yourself in eco mode, it's kind of too slow, I think, even in the city. It feels like you don't have enough power to pass people or to make sure you just keep up with the traffic on the road. So normal mode is the way to go. And from the press release for the 2025 Toyota Camry, Toyota have mentioned that they have worked on driving dynamics, and they have worked on making this car drive a little bit sportier than the previous generation. And what they did is that they stiffened the suspension for SE and XSE models compared to last year. And actually, after driving this car for a whole week, I can actually notice that it handles pretty well for its size, for its length, and for a Camry. And don't get me wrong, it's not going to be handling as well as the Subaru WRX, which you can watch a review as well, the pop-up banner right now. But Camry was always good at being a great transportation device. And I feel like Toyota has done enough improvements and updates to make this car even more relevant, cooler, and better. I'm a car and driving enthusiast. I enjoy more sporty cars, cars with more engagement, but I think I have to praise these kind of cars. Affordable, reliable, nice to drive, and I know the majority of people don't care how sporty their car drives. Not everyone wants to spend 50, 60, 70K on a new car and pay thousands of dollars every month to just keep it on the road. Some people want a simple car like a Toyota Camry. The starting price is not as bad. In the US, it starts at around $30,000, and in Canada at around 37,000 Canadian dollars. This is not a lot of money if you compare it to other cars on the market. And you get enough space to carry 4 people with you. You get a big trunk. You get a very nicely laid out interior. You don't feel like you're driving a penalty box. You feel like you drive a very decent transportation device. And again, Toyota proved to us that their hybrid powertrain is very reliable. In the world and market full of just so many disposable products that are so hard to maintain and so expensive to maintain, I feel like we need more cars like this. And the other reason I'm supporting this car is that it's a sedan. And sedans are dying in this market in North America. I'm so glad this car exists. I'm so glad this car is still killing it. And I'm glad that Honda Accord exists. Honda Civic exists. These cars are for the people. And honestly, if you compare the Toyota Camry to any SUV on the market, apart from these with V8s or V10s, Toyota Camry will be more fun to drive. So you will be having more fun behind the wheel of Toyota Camry than 90% of the cars out there. Look at this. There's only SUVs. Oh, another Toyota Camry. Pretty cool. But look at this. SUV, 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 SUV. Model Y behind me. It's just 90% SUVs. And as always, I'd like to talk about some downsides of the cars I'm reviewing. And of course, Toyota Camry is not ideal. First of all, I think it's just a notch expensive. I know that all the cars became more expensive right now, so it's not really Toyota's fault. They have to be competitive. It was never an all-wheel drive option for a V6, so it couldn't make all the power from the get-go, and the transmission wasn't the fastest, so it's not like you were very engaged with the V6. It was more on a smoother side than a sportier side. And of course, the V6 option was one of the most reliable engines made in this world. But you get 45 mpg in this XSE model. It is crazy. If someone told me like 5 or 10 years ago that all Camry is going to have 45 mpgs, I wouldn't believe them. But to sum up, I think you should go for an SE version instead of the XSE. I feel like XSE trim is actually cool if you want to spend more money. You get ventilated leather seats, heated as well. You get this panoramic moonroof, as I showed you before. You get these 2 big screens. You get some ambient lighting for your footwell on both sides, and a little bit of ambient lighting right here as well. on the dashboard. But I think the SE trim is the one to go because you get all of the features that you actually need, and you will not lose this engine. You'll get the same engine. In the US, you can option the SE to be all-wheel drive. The same goes to Canada. And I guess the main downside of the SE trim is that you don't get the extra sound deadening. Please make sure to test drive both SE and XSE or XLE trim to compare the noise levels in the cabin, on the highway or in the city, and make sure you're okay to live with that on a daily basis. Because again, you buy this car to drive it for at least 5 years. But with this, thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoy my reviews, I have actually started doing this maybe a month or 2 months ago. I've done maybe 5 reviews so far, and you think I do a good job or you think I do a bad job, please leave the comment below. If you want to see more reviews on my channel, please subscribe to not miss the next one. And as always, stay safe out there, keep enjoying the drive, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.